I'm a man who believed that I died 20 years ago, and I live like a man who is dead already. I have no fear whatsoever of anybody or anything.
Webb. I am an investigative journalist, and in 1996 I wrote a series of stories entitled Dark Alliance, which was about CIA involvement in drug trafficking.
I knew a man who once said death smiles at us all. All a man can do is smile back.
We've both been skull and bone with the secret society.
It's so secret we can't talk about it.
What does that mean for America? The conspiracy theorists are going to go on.
I'm sure they are. I don't know. I haven't seen the rest.
Number 322.
I have duty to report this afternoon that my friend and colleague, Tim Russert, collapsed and died early this afternoon.
I may die in this cell tonight or in the arena tomorrow. I am a slave. What possible difference can I make?
And no official of my administration, whether his rank is high or low, civilian or military, should interpret my words here tonight as an excuse to censor the news, to stifle dissent, to cover up our mistakes, or to withhold from the press and the public the facts they deserve to know.
What the fuck is up? Welcome to another Already Dead, me and Austin Picard of the Underclass Podcast weekly experiment that we do together every Tuesday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern. We do come together and we do this. And it seems I screwed up the layout. I did not mean to include you. Cool. Go away. I was just trying to expand the layout. My bad. But yeah, it's glad to be back with you guys. Now, as you know, we're also doing our almost damn near daily show now. So with the world today, it keeps on giving. There's so much going on that we continue to get coverage, which works out though, because it's almost like I feel like with this show every week we just like had the problem of like we almost had too much to cover and then we get kind of lost and then like it's just like there was no, but now it's like we both get to like literally cover every day and then come back together. And then we also kind of have like sometimes we'll meet up and do a morning dump together and then we'll kind of then come together and almost have like a weekly review kind of now is almost what this is, or what other stuff are kind of on our mind. So we have the off the cuff, we have the weekly review where we refined our thoughts a little bit more. So it's kind of, and then obviously then we have our solo episodes where we've refined our thoughts even further. So I don't know, I think it's working well. We've kind of created a cool little format in that sense. I think a good way to work through our thoughts.
Absolutely, buddy. I've been loving it. Honestly, it's been a really good opportunity to kind of engage with the audience as well, of course. So that's pretty awesome as far as just, I don't know, it's kind of this platform to workshop ideas, but also instinctually react to the current relevant news that's kind of cycling through the, this environment of doom scrolling that we can't help but be affected by. So I don't know. It's given me again this sort of this opportunity to kind of bring things to the table that I wouldn't otherwise be able to really expound on and give my personal opinions and thoughts just off the bat. So as the narratives form around these events, I think it's very worthwhile to have this format specifically regarding manufactured crises and domestic gladio that we tend to speak on a very frequent
with that basis. I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but like that kind of I just couldn't. I didn't want to let that go. I feel like that's a perfect caveat for. I know I said we were going to start with a different clip, but I think we should actually start with the Livelsberger girlfriend or wife, actually wife audio. It's actually AI rendered, I believe. It was, intentionally AI rendered, just, so it wasn't
Right.
like a trick or anything, I believe, from my recollection. I haven't had a chance to dig into it. You're the one who actually read through a little bit more than I did. As I said, the nature of our show, more off the cuff. I haven't had a chance to do it. I sent you some links, and I hadn't had a chance to look into time, but like briefly. But yeah, there's a lot of, it seems the wife has come out. There's been some craziness, and like with the speaking of like forming narratives, it's like the narratives shifted so many damn times of this story, and it's hard to keep track of where any information is coming from, especially because it is like it's coming from this like vet bro operator community. It's all just like a lot of he said, she said, and then oh well, then or it's coming. This is coming from chain of command. Oh, this is coming from Bob from fucking over in Division 3. Or what? What I mean? Like it's all over the place. I think that might be a good place to start. So, Jules, if you could get that dialed up, and then maybe we could give some commentary on it. But I mean, what are your thoughts initially? I know you covered this morning. I listened to your coverage. I do want to real quick. I do want to remind you guys. Today was the first day, I believe, and we have all the kinks ironed out now with the morning dump, where it will be going to our platforms separately. So for now, tomorrow, I don't know if you're gonna do it tomorrow, but tomorrow I think you are. But I picked up a shift, so I'm working tomorrow. But tomorrow I think you're going to be doing a morning dump, maybe, and then so that'll be on your platforms, and then the following day, Thursday, I'll be back, and those will be on all my platforms. We were streaming to both for a minute there, like both YouTubes particularly. We only have so many destinations to our StreamYard, so. But yeah, it'll be going, when it go tomorrow, when it's on Austin's channel, it'll be going to his YouTube, his Rumble, his Twitter. When it's mine, it'll be my Rumble, my YouTube, my Twitter. And obviously then it'll go out to our RSS feeds later. So just so you guys know, that's the deal now. Or not, while, Austin was setting up other stuff, we were mutually sharing, and also to kind of get the word out that, hey, we're doing this like sort of mutual show together now. We may in the future change to where we're just always streaming, maybe especially if we upgrade our StreamYard later. But yeah, more to come on that. But anyways, that aside, this shit kind of wild. You didn't key in. I will say one thing you didn't key in on, thing that really caught my ears. She mentioned something about a new job, but I guess I don't know if we should listen to it first and then give commentary, or you give your initial thoughts and then
go
play
ahead
it.
and play it.
Yeah, let's go ahead and play it, and then because it kind of says it best itself. But
My name is Jennifer Davis, the widow of Matthew Livelsberger. I have kept silent until now because I, like all of you, have been in a state of pure shock and denial. The only reason that I have decided to break my silence is because I know that I owe it to our daughter. In our world of endless internet opinions, our daughter needs a post somewhere that speaks the truth of her father. The truth is, we were Matt's entire world. He loved being a father. We shared our very first Christmas as parents together with our beautiful daughter this year. The way that he adored his daughter was something so unexplainably beautiful. The way he cared and attended to my every need before I could even ask or think was just one of his endless qualities that have already birthed so many tears of mine in his absence. He loved both of us dearly and deeply. He was selfless and thoughtful. He shielded us and protected us to the very end. My husband's military career and service is and was exemplary and speaks for itself. He was a dedicated soldier and loved his family and his brotherhood with every ounce of his being. Matt was a hero among men who dedicated his whole life to serving our country, and he will be remembered as such. I want to clearly and directly address several pieces of misinformation that have been recently released about my husband and family. First and foremost, Matt and I were in love and committed to our marriage. We had plans and a future with so many dreams that now will be just a memory to seal for our daughter. Matt was not only excited about our future together, but the future of his career and the new job that he had started. And in no uncertain terms did we have any plans or intentions of breaking up or separating. Additionally, the paternity of our daughter was never in question and certainly was not an issue in our marriage. I hate even having to clarify that fact, as I find that lie personally slanderous and offensive. I want to be clear for my daughter's sake. The DNA was pulled and verified as a match. Losing my husband has been the most devastating event of my life. Knowing my daughter's life will never be the same and will never really know her father is more than I can process. As you can imagine, the added complexity and public nature of this adds a level of pain and stress that no one can prepare you for. I sit here today still in the unknown, wishing so badly I could go back to our wonderful first and last Christmas that we shared together. As the days have passed, I still do not have the answers that so many of you are looking for. I am desperately searching for them as well. While my daughter and I mourn our hero, we ask for privacy, please. Thank you.
Yeah, obviously there's quite a few things in there. The one that I mentioned that we didn't catch was the job thing. I would like to know what that job was, because it was my understanding. I mean, and you know what? I should have thought of that before, but they said he's a 19-year, like from my recollection, I believe he was a 19 years Navy. Navy, right? Was he Navy?
I thought he was a Green Beret, right?
Green Beret? No, Army. Okay, Army. Or either way, whatever. Fucking one of the branches. But he was 19 years in, so he was he was within a year of being applicable for a pension. I don't remember what rank he was. Do you remember what rank? You don't remember offhand.
I just
rank.
knew he was Special Forces. That's all I knew. Yeah.
I think he was a Master Sergeant, but I forget what a Master Sergeant is in Army. What enlisted rank? Anyways, I'm just trying to figure out like where he'd be. Point is, he was like probably a year out from being applicable for a retirement for his pension. And the way the military works is like you can stay up to like 30 years, but you have to like make a certain amount of rank. So that's why I was asking about his rank, like if he was even able to stay past 20. But anyways, so he was like a year out, so it makes sense that he was, already, kind of in the works of getting a new job. But I mean, I guess maybe he was further along in like his military career being over than I thought, because they said starting a new job. So it sounds like most of these guys, especially some people who are like, do like the whole 20, they got some sort of like cake job or some sort of something hooked up. I mean, I knew when I was in the military, tons of guys were like, 20. I don't mean they were going to go fucking, do some like spook stuff. I mean, these were like mechanics that were like, cool, I got a good job working quality assurance over, working on jet engines over here or whatever. Like, because they just know these things. So, I'm just kind of fuming in the mouth, just kind of thinking out loud, like like where he was at. I guess he would be getting some sort of job. And if you think about, what, as I said, which is like a military mechanic, like how that would work. What did he do for 20 years? Like, what kind of job applications was he? What kind of job was he about to start? Did that have some sort of play in here? I'm not saying it did, but I would like to know. I mean, maybe this is information that's out there somewhere, but I don't recall it. So yeah, I don't know if do you remember seeing anything about that? I haven't looked into it, so I don't know if you saw that somewhere.
No, not that specifically. I just really looked into kind of the source of where this new information was kind of coming from, right? And I think that was
another Vet Bro podcast, right?
Yeah, that was my that was my priority.
Which, to be fair, this one was a Green Beret. Wait, no, which one was this one?
Yeah, it was also as a former Green Beret or a Green Beret veteran.
Okay.
Yeah. So he has some sort of personal relationship with Livelsberger, I think is how they say it. His wife, and Jennifer Davis, I believe, is her name. And so Matt Tardio, which is an interesting name, but anyway, he's the individual apparently who's exposing all of this, and this specifically the statement, which allegedly he's set to have her on his podcast, which I don't know when that's going to occur. I think he had mentioned like within the week potentially. So we'll see if that actually comes to fruition, because that would be very interesting to at least tune into and alleviate
see doubts. This seems, I will say, from the little bits I did vaguely, I super quickly skimmed. I remembered seeing something about it. So yeah, this did seem semi-legit to me. I mean, I don't know, maybe there's something. I saw somebody in the chat that was kind of like, seems like they're casting a doubt, saying misinformation was top of mind. I don't know. I mean, given the situation, I can kind of see how you would, you might almost feel a little bit compelled to like correct the record, especially people saying she left you or whatever. Like, dude, yeah, like what the fuck? Obviously, that's a huge, a huge like bit of information that's apparently wrong, supposedly, that's now out there in the public. So it makes sense to want to get it out there, not even just for the embarrassment side or like being like, but just even for just like, hey, for those trying to do research, because I do think the public, like the public researchers, like the things that we do, and then all the nerds, autists, I think that collective power does actually, generate results in a lot of occasions. So I think, you would want to play into that. Like if something happened to your loved one, try to correct the record if you can. Like I get like you want to grieve, you want to be alone, but like do what you feel you got to do. But it would make sense that like if you can easily be like, no, this is what happened. Say
absolutely,
that to be the case,
because the implication there alone is that it sort of adds to the credible, plausible, plausibility of the narrative that was forming, which was this would kind of fit within the framework of his radicalization, right? And I think that, oh, well, in the minds of the average individual, all they have to see are those original reports and go, oh, well, he's clearly in a crisis personally as an individual with his own family, within the context of his own family, right? His family dynamics breaking down. He has this new child apparently, and so who wouldn't be inspired to react in some extremist way, right? Some extreme sort of reaction that could play into, of course, the plausibility of that narrative. So that was my main consideration of it, was just that, again, it kind of corroborates the official line that was forming to begin with.
Didn't
and so
someone?
this,
Oh, sorry, didn't make it.
no, I
Weren't
was just
some of the-
thinking, it
weren't
just
some of the-
disputes all of that.
Go ahead. Yeah, I was just thinking, weren't some of the marital problems, because you might recall this better than I did, weren't some of the marital problem sources initially came from some sort of like command of some sort or something like that? I vaguely recall you saying something like that, like that's where that originated from, and maybe it was the DNA component, or maybe it was her breaking up. Although the DNA kind of the confusion is because the DNA kind of like implies the other, you know what I mean?
Right,
Because like
right.
the whole the DNA doesn't match. That either implies it's not his body or it's not his kid. So,
Right. No,
so like
exactly.
yeah. So like
And
those,
imagine,
go ahead.
just imagine, right? If that's not your mutual child, as far as between the two of them, Livelsberger and this woman, then his wife, then why would you submit your newborn child, to this DNA process, right? And that alone is a little strange,
Yeah.
because they should have his DNA on file. As far as his military career is concerned, why would that even be necessary?
You would
Very
think, but
interesting.
I don't recall ever getting. But I mean, I also wasn't a Green Beret, so like I don't fucking. I mean, like either
You would
way,
think
it's
the
like
medicals would be
yeah.
just a rigorous process, but I'm not. I don't know.
I mean, I
I
don't know
haven't
what
gone
all
through
it goes into, how common storing DNA is, or how much of an issue it is. Because I could see if there's a high cost for it, why the U.S. government wouldn't for your standard military member. I mean, you
Right.
might think for like some of those guys you would, but even then, maybe they'd rather not. I guess at that point, if you have an operator, why would you want to have anything to track them? I don't know. I'm talking on my ass a little bit. Because I don't, now that I think about it, it's like I don't know if that is standard in the military. If you would standard, collect your DNA,
Right.
So I don't know.
Exactly.
Like,
And
if that was somehow cost prohibitive in any way, I could totally see being like, nah, you know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah, no, absolutely. But I remember now from this morning, the article that I had pulled up was just Breitbart article, right? And basically it says that this Navy SEAL veteran podcaster, of course, referring to Sean Ryan, on his show revealed, this is where it was revealed, that Butler, the Army public affairs officer, had said in a private conversation, let me see if I can get his first name. I don't know if it clearly had to have mentioned it
oh,
before.
a private conversation.
Yeah, Lieutenant Colonel Dave Butler, Army's public affairs officer, the chief of staff of the Army's public affairs office.
Chief of Staff of Public Affairs Office.
Lieutenant
Private
Colonel.
conversation. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. And so this individual is the one, according to Sean Ryan, he revealed that this Dave Butler, the Army public affairs officer, had said in a private conversation that Livelsberger's child's DNA did not match his own. So Ryan's lawyer, Tim Parlator,
Wait.
later,
Who was this private conversation to? Did it say, or did I zone out and miss that, or no?
let's see, revealed that
Because this
Butler-
matters. Because this is
Yeah.
such a weird way to source information.
Right. No, this, and again, this is
And it
according
coming
to
from
Sean
chain of
Ryan.
command, you're like, what?
Yeah, it's nothing but spooks too, right?
Yeah.
Which is, but Sean Ryan is the one who revealed that this was within the private conversation. So I'm not sure. I need to look into.
Because you see how that like sounds sort of official, because it's like private
Absolutely.
conversation from chief of staff that was said to one guy that was then said to Sean Ryan or whatever. Because it's like,
Oh, here we
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
Here we go. It was so it was Sean Ryan's lawyer,
okay,
Tim Parlator, who later described this conversation with Butler in detail in an X-Space conversation, calling it one of the weirdest conversations that I've ever had with a public affairs officer. So this is Sean Ryan's attorney.
Huh.
Isn't that strange?
Yeah, I wonder.
No shit.
It's weird that the lawyer said that. So I wonder if, like, I mean, don't get me wrong, I've kind of shit on Sean Ryan, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's unwitting and if he is suspicious. You know what I mean? If he's, but like, you know what I mean? Like, because he did. I remember when I watched that, he did seem kind of almost miffed about the situation. So I'm like, I don't know, like if he just feels like, I don't know, maybe it almost feels like implied because like this spook thing that like, you know, I kind of have to do it because they're spooks, but I'm unwitting. I don't really know, but like I feel like there's some sort of wool being pulled over my eye here or something. You know what I mean? Like one of those, like not really too happy about the situation type deal. I mean, that's the feeling. You know what I mean? Like that's the vibe I got from that. That is so weird. So a private conversation from their public affairs chief of staff with Sean Ryan's lawyer is what that was the source that leaked that. That is insane. That is wild.
Yeah. He has a very strange statement on it as well. It's kind of convoluted, and he says, throughout the entire statement. But
like that guy's whole job is to not have loose lips. Like his whole job is to control the narrative. He's literally in charge of the public affairs. His whole job is like how to craft the narrative. Like his thing is like how to seed information, like what information not to give out. Like that's. I mean, don't get me wrong. These guys are incompetent, but like, come on. This is something. What's going on here? Either, I mean, I guess sure, there's an outside chance that the military is telling the truth, and there's something fucky going on here. But like, just feels weird, you know.
It's hard to accept at face value. I'll tell you that, right? And so with this one specifically, especially considering that he says this is one of the weirdest conversations that he's ever had with a public affairs officer. That makes me think, well, is this kind of like the contrived narrative that's being deliberately facilitated to this channel of clearly a very prominent public influence at this very moment because of the turn of events through the first week, couple of weeks of this new year, right? And so it just makes sense that tap in this viable option for, a sort of CIA Mockingbird asset in the alternative landscape and have him prop up this narrative, whether, it's at the very least, it's being provided to the public. So whether that's just to convolute the, sort of flood the landscape with these various narratives for all of us to kind of fall in line, whether it's confirmation bias for individuals like ourselves that are attempting to, critically see through these false narratives and misconceptions, or a method of controlling the outcome of the narrative itself. I'm not quite certain. That's the interesting aspect of like covering things so current, I think, is that you just have to run that risk and hope that you've kind of cultivated this proper instinct, to discern for yourself whether, what is true and what is not, and what you should be skeptical of and remain skeptical of. And that's what I think is so important at this moment, and why I continue to say on the morning streams, remain vigilant during PSYOP season.
Right? I will say, someone just saying, go chat guy, but it's fun to think how far ahead this whole charade was planned, into what detail ahead of time. I will say, one thing, I mean, I did recognize, like, and this kind of corresponds to my digging into like the Oklahoma City bombing. Like one thing I noticed when covered the Oklahoma City bombing is like how shitty of a job the FBI did, and how obvious of a job it was, like a cover up. And it just seems like, you're like, so the idea people go like, oh, is this planned ahead? And you're like, I don't think, at the very least, not by them. I don't think it was planned by those, like the FBI, because it's like, yeah, they are like completely like falling over themselves. It's not really, it's very ham-fisted essentially. And then, so it looks like almost as if something else happened, something went wrong. So and this reminds me of this exact same thing with the chief of staff here. Like, that just seems like an overt tactic that you would only really use if you really had to use it. Like, it's not that subtle. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, you'll more OKC stuff soon, probably. I gotta schedule another one. I was talking. I gotta hit up Jonathan Franklin. I met on recently, and Jonathan Franklin, Richard Booth, wanted to have a conversation with him, and I'd like to do that too.
Oh, hell yeah!
So I think I'm gonna host a conversation between Richard Booth and Jonathan Franklin, and I guess myself as well.
Richard
But I'll
so
mostly
much,
just be kind of almost moderating a conversation with those two minds.
That would be awesome, man.
Yeah.
I would love every second of that.
Yeah.
Richard is so just valuable in this, especially in this current moment. I love him, Ken Silva, of course. Like those individuals are just, man, they offer extraordinary value in a time where, again, right, we just mentioned PSYOP season. This is an oversaturated landscape with misconceptions and false narratives, deliberately and deceptively manufactured by, the intelligence community, and so we have to have people like Richard who are willing to kind of, put their credibility at risk, but also, come with receipts and legitimate, credible, lines of investigation that are so worth exposing and spotlighting. And so, yeah, I'll thank God every day for finding. I essentially found him through you in a strange way, but also found you through him because of his appearances on Scott Horton's show, right? Which is just always was something that I valued as well. But anyway.
Yeah. Real quick, someone says, this guy says in 10 minutes behind, but Master Sergeant in the Army is E8. Yeah, okay, cool. Because I in Air Force, which is what I was, it's an E7. So I was asking, so in E8, I believe they can stay up to like either 26 or 28 years. So just like on the topic of his, job. So it is like, I guess he probably could have stayed in the military longer. So then, I don't know, make of that what you will. It wasn't like he was being forced out of the military. He could have stayed in longer. They would have allowed him to ride out a little bit longer. He was applicable for a pension within a year. The way it works in the military is like you can get your pension at 20 years, but if you're able to get to 30, you get more of your pension. Like you get 50% of your base pay if you retire at 20. You get 75 of your base pay if you retire at 30. So I mean, you have more of incentive. But point being is, I mean, he may have just been getting out, may have been done with it, but it looks like he was moving on to something. Once again, I am a little bit like, what's going on there? I did want to say, Dirt McGirt, I see you're having trouble drinking. Yeah, I mean, I've been there before, man. I would definitely just, I don't know, drinking's one of those ones that like the longer, I mean, not that I guess I had sort of a problem, but never really like a problem, but I just never really anything positive out of it. And especially if you don't feel like you can control yourself at all, definitely just not to need to have it at all in your life. I mean, I very rarely ever drink. Every once in a while, I had some whiskey for Christmas, and I haven't had any alcohol since. So, but I hope you stay strong. Bobo says, "Boys in the tracks, please." Yes, I mean I will say on my end of things, if you find me a guest out there, someone who's knowledgeable in the Boys of Tracks, I will gladly interview them for the show, and we'll do a full-on episode on it. Or if one of you guys find me an article on it, as a particularly decent one that you like, I will cover it on the show, on the morning show at some point. So. Because I do want to cover Boys and Tracks. That's one I'm very interested in, but I just haven't had a chance to dig into. So whether that be interviewing someone or digging through it myself in like an article with you guys on the live streams, one way or another, I do want to cover that because I do think there's some sort of like connective thread when it comes to the Boys and Tracks and a lot of the stuff that me and Austin talk about.
100%, especially considering Barry Seal's connections to what was happening through Mina at that time. With that was all Iran Contra, the mega
like
group.
This could have been Sean Ryan that off these kids. Like it could have been. I'm not saying it is, but it could have been. If you think about what he was doing, like it could have been.
Hey, I wouldn't be surprised if in about 10 years he comes out and tells that story in some hilarious way with Megyn Kelly.
He's on Megyn Kelly. Like, so like after the military, like we were running so high on adrenaline and like I just like, I don't know, I was drinking so much, I was doing so much drugs. And you know what? I just decided I'd just murder some people. And then I did. And then I started this whole murder operation and then we'd murder people. And then, so then I just like, then I got right with God and now here I am. You're like, what the fuck? For those who aren't aware, he literally completely told Megyn Kelly that he was trafficking drugs after his time with the military, with the CIA. So you're like, he wasn't even saying, but it was like, you're literally, admitting to be an international drug trafficker on Megyn Kelly.
Absolutely.
Like, what are you doing, dog?
100%.
Like, is this just like a revelation of the method, or are you just telling us, like, yo, dog, I was in the sea, I was a glowy, fucking, come on, dude, I was a glowy. I clearly was, like, I'm saying online right now that I committed federal crimes, like lots of federal crimes probably, and whatever, whoop-de-doo.
Right? No, it was 100% presented in that way, which is so just ridiculous, but it makes a lot of sense, especially during PSYOP season. But as far as just
No, that was old. That was old.
I know
That one. Okay. I was just making sure. I don't
I
know
was
when that
just
Megyn
saying,
Kelly
like-
interview was, but it was on a, I believe it was on a Veterans Day. It was one of either Veterans Day or the other one. Was it Memorial Day? It was one of the two.
Interesting. Do you know what
Because I
year that
watched
was?
it. Huh?
Do you know what year that was?
I don't know. I mean, I could look it up real quick. I could tell you Megyn Kelly.
Yeah, I want to know when he kind of made his appearance on the landscape of the media landscape specifically, because I'm curious to know, because all I know is he sort of made his most impact on me through just, of course, like that Joe Rogan appearance that was more recent, that was kind of paving the way for these recent terrorist attacks at the turn of the year, right, in the new year.
Yeah.
And so that was really just something that struck me and raised some red flags, of course. But yeah, as far as individuals dealing with substance abuse issues in regard to, I can't remember who said that at this point. I couldn't find it, but hey, buddy,
By the way, it was
been
7
there.
months ago. 7 months ago.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
not too long ago, right?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
And that raises my eyebrows instantly and catches my attention. So I'm interested to know what exactly when he started his podcast as well. But anyway, I just wanted to say in regard to the substance abuse issue, like, I've been there, my friend. So if you ever need anybody to talk to or whatever that can relate to something that you're going through, buddy, just hit me up, man. I know what it's like as far as that's concerned. And yeah, when you're in that mental state and psychological framework, you can't quite think for yourself. You're kind of in a mental prison, psychological prison, and that is no good place to find yourself. So I have nothing but sympathy for you, buddy.
Sean Ryan started. Oh, sorry.
No,
Didn't
you're
mean
good,
to cut you off. I was just looking as you're doing. Sean Ryan started his podcast, or not his podcast, but his YouTube channel like 7 years ago. And then about 5 years ago is when he had episode 1 with Mike Glover. So, yep, that's when that has 3.4 million views. This is his first one, though. So, I mean, it looks like right from the jump with those, it went from, millions of views. I mean, obviously, these are, over time. So, people are going to go back and watch the first few. So, I'm trying to see, like, have an idea. Yeah, no, still in the millions. Oh, episode 5 goes down to like a quarter of it. So I think once the first few probably did really good. So just give you an idea of kind of where it's at. But it looks like probably right out the jump, if I had to guess, they were probably already doing like probably 50K to 100K an episode, if I had to guess. So I'd assume he probably was getting amped by, I don't know at what point. I know he's been on Rogan, I believe, at least once, if not multiple times. So I mean, I don't know how this falls into the time frame. I don't know when he started his show. He could have started a show after like a Rogan appearance or something, like he already was kind of famous from whatever, because he had other like little fucking, influencer type videos of him doing fucking whatever shit.
That
So
way, because just the presentation of Rogan's introduction alone was just kind of like he's the guy, for these very, very important lines of information, and of course assessing his credibility through his intelligence connections, as always, right? But that whole Matthew Livelsberger and this whole domestic Gladio kind of vein that we're always in, right, that we always find ourselves in, makes me I wanted to show you this sleeper cell in Chicago, that this report that we're just talking about. Richard, he brought it to my attention basically when he tweeted about it, and I thought it was worth bringing to the table, because I had just in passing kind of discussed it this morning, but I figured you would love this, especially in context with
ARA type shit.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Is that what you're about to say? This sounds like legit, like ARA. Like
that is exactly.
I mean,
where I
this
was going.
sounds like they're fucking going through Peter Langen's fucking safe house or fucking Terry Nichols storage locker or something.
Yep.
So
Yep.
all right, yeah, let's go ahead and play this.
Hell yeah.
Guys, the suspicious materials in question were apparently discovered by a contractor who was scheduled to service the units inside this apartment building. We talked to her, and what she says she found were pretty clear red flags that needed to be reported to authorities.
I had the master key, and I went in there, and I came across a lot of things, and I was like, that don't seem right.
Melissa Caraway works for an HVAC company.
To be fair, it didn't seem right.
Service units at
Right.
533 East 33rd Place in the Lake Meadows neighborhood. She says residents get advance notice that they'll be making the rounds and entering their units. When no one answered the door, she says she let herself in.
And I came across some C4, some explosives, a rifle, a lot of fake IDs, a lot of fireman stuff, a lot of police force stuff, and it just looked like it was fake,
She says the discovery happened around 10 a.m. in a unit on the 6th floor. She wasn't sure what to do at first, but says she called police about a half hour later. Video of the response shows law enforcement with ballistic shields, others with rifles. The entire building was evacuated, officers going door by door to tell residents they needed to leave.
I was afraid because I didn't know what was going on. So, again, I've been out here since like 11:15, 11:30, and I still don't have any information.
After several hours inside, CPD says its bomb unit cleared the scene as a precaution, determining the objects were safe and posed no threat. Police say someone was placed into custody on the scene, but no further information was provided.
The bombing that happened in New Orleans and Vegas, so it kind of scared me. So I just want to call and check.
Certainly understand her concern. Police on scene began to leave this building around 1:30 this afternoon. Residents trickling back into the building shortly thereafter. This explosive scare again resulting in one person in custody, though it's not clear how that person is connected to what police discovered inside. Guys, this...
Yeah.
It's interesting. I wonder if we're going to start seeing a lot of bank robberies or armored car robberies here soon, or whatever a modern version of that would be. I can't really think of something that would be like a more applicable. I don't know. That's interesting. I mean, although it's Chicago, so it's not really like a white. Although I guess I don't know. We got the Luigi Mangione stuff this year, so we got a little bit of a left wing bent. So I wouldn't be surprised if the flavor of the week for the glows that be would be kind of more lefty leaning. So are we going to get a left leaning ARA? Are we going to get there where they're creating cells and they've learned tactics, from the race? Brother. They've studied their enemy and learned the racist right. And you're learning their tactics or something. I mean, look, the storyline almost writes itself. You know what I mean? So like, I can see it. Yeah.
It is legitimately straight out of the Patty Hearst playbook, the SLA.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Is that not the exact same playbook? And in my mind, that's what I found when I had an audience member bring up to me the fact that the 1985 move bombing in Philadelphia, and it has all the hallmarks of the SLA and the Patty Hearst playbook. And once again, I was just like, wow, like you're witnessing these sort of leftist radicalization organizations and groups that were forming at that very time. That is prime Operation Chaos, and so to me, it just fits that narrative perfectly. And so I'm not at all like, again, this is something that shares all these signatures that are so similar, right, within that framework. And so it's just something that always seems to catch my eye, but now more than ever. And so I think that as far as the political spectrum is concerned, it's always almost like we talk about full spectrum dominance. Man, why would they not oversaturate that landscape to where they offer this sort of green light go scenario as far as considering Tim McVeigh and Terry Nichols and that, as far as that was concerned in that operation, it very much seemed as if it was so compartmentalized that not everyone was aware of when it was going active and when it was going to be given the green light. And then even within that framework, there was deception blanketing all the various details, as far as even McVeigh and Nichols himself. Nichols himself referred to McVeigh being pissed because the site had been changed from the courthouse, or I believe it was, to the Murrah building at the last second, and so that sort of caused this internal strife within the operation itself, and that tends to match with what we're seeing here within this modern framework of domestic Gladio, man. I mean, I don't think there's any other way to kind of stage this reality and kind of set the frame for how we perceive it, because it does seem very much like the intelligence community and this hidden hand that is not so hidden. It's very much overt if you are read in on how these clandestine operators function in this kind of underbelly or whatever you want to call it. Anyway, it's fascinating to me, buddy. I'm kind of baffled by the fact that with the we continue to say PSYOP season, but these expectations of domestic terrorism, like that's what's raising a lot of red flags for me, and I think is something that we need to really focus on, because that's by design, man. I can't see another way.
Yeah. Real quick, I do need to. We need to address there was a Rumble rant a while back from JC. Said, "Where's Jules? Press 1 if they're treating you okay." Jules definitely pressed 1 earlier. Here's Jules. Now go away. I'm just playing. You okay, bud? You all right back there? Yeah, his audio's fucked. All right, you don't think his audio's... Oh, you're good. You're good.
There he is.
I don't think you had your audio stuff set up. Oh well, but yeah, no, he's good. He's good. He's back there. He's chilling. Appreciate the $10. I do also remind you guys though, with Austin's YouTube, he is monetized over there. So if you're ever on the Underclass Podcast YouTube, you can send him send him YouTube over there, or YouTube. Send him. God, I'm brain fart. You can send him a super chats over there in his YouTube channel. For me, my YouTube's demonetized. That got demonetized a long time. Appreciate it. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if you got dinged for like maybe the video or something.
Oh, dude. Instantly. So I get monetized, and I go and I'm messing with the Google AdSense aspect of the monetization process. And
wait, are you demonetized?
No.
Okay, real quick. This specific episode right now. Did you get an email notification about the video at the beginning? Okay, because I'm only wondering because I'm looking at the numbers right now and yours is significantly lower. So I'm like, what the fuck, guys? Go over to Austin's channel. So I assume maybe they got you because sometimes right now and then that intro gets us and then it makes it so then like it's age restricted, lowers the views. But all right, anyways, you guys go follow him. Lately, yours has been outdoing mine. But I know you're about to go ahead. Demonetization. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, you're good, buddy.
Yeah, I know you said something about your channel, but I forget the specifics.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
I'm not at all shocked though. Because
I was I was right. That's what I was trying to express to you. Your shit's age restricted. That's why right now you're getting like around like fucking less than 15 live views, whereas I'm getting like 50 because I'm like, what the fuck? Lately, yours has been performing like mine is because yours like you've gained like 1,500 fucking followers in like a couple of weeks. So your channel's been killing it. So like your channel's been acting like way out bigger than what it is. So you've been about the same as me. So yeah, you got the age restricted. That's why. But with that, guys, make sure you hit the like button. Hit that like button. Counteract that. That's the only way we really can fight it. It is what it is. It got age restricted because in the edit, JFK got domed. One of these days, we'll have to ask at the Thin Line see if he can take it out. But it just feels gay. Like no, we're fuck it. Like whatever. You're following Rumble, guys.
For real.
Yeah.
I apparently you can't discuss Ukraine in any sort of honest framework either, because that seems to have been what it was that raised this red flag for my profile and my channel. So I don't know, man. I got it right away. As soon as I'm going in the process, I'm like adding whatever the crucial information that is necessary for the monetization. And yeah, the first thing I see as I log in is a red flag at the top that of course is warning me for violating this content or this I can't remember the terms that it was put in, but either way, I violated some sort of policy at YouTube, which of course is in regard to speaking on the Ukrainian conflict as if it's some sort of proxy war for the U.S. State Department, which is legitimate facts. I mean, I don't understand how that is an issue. But
what you need to do is you need to fucking screenshot and then tweet that out and tweet that this happened. What did you said it was a demonetization or was it
basically
it took down a video or what?
On that video, I couldn't monetize that video specifically.
Okay, whatever.
So
I mean,
just saying that content specifically was
it wasn't for copyright, right?
No, it wasn't for copyright.
We get copyrights all the time. That means nothing. That's just like ad read on YouTube, which is nothing anyways. So like whatever.
I fucked up on the one morning dump that I played. I played 1 minute and it was like 1 minute and 8 seconds
he got
from
nuked.
Mr. Robot, and I was like, I hope this doesn't flag me. And then I was like, fuck, it flagged me instantly. So.
Yeah, this is great talk. I'm sure you guys love this, the logistical talk, but we're ironing things out. Guys, let's transition with the call-in portion. I do want to remind you guys real quick before we continue on. Today's episode was brought to you by Nado Shave Co. If you're tired of that razor burn irritation, those ingrown hairs that can come from those multi-blade cartridges, and this is the way to go. You can go back to traditional shave. This is great stuff. It's cheaper. It's better. I mean, it's like better quality. Supports your values. This is a COVID mandate refusing company. This company was born out of that. So use Jose at checkout for 10% off. He's also got shave soaps, body hair, face and soaps type stuff. Great stuff. Feels great. Smells great. It's a fucking great product that supports your values. Cheaper than the alternative, and a better product than the alternative, like by a lot. So you're kind of just silly if you're a shaver and you're sticking with this multi-blade cartridge stuff and not going this route. I don't know what you're doing. You're a silly goose. But all right, let's go ahead and get into it. Let's go ahead and bring up the call-in number for you guys. We got 941-281-5857. Also, do want to remind you guys, if you guys are patrons of me or Austin, you guys at our lowest level, you guys can be a talking head on Already Dead with us. So you could be kind of like, just like I just made with Jules. That could be you.
Hey,
that could be your
Jules
beautiful
here.
face instead of his beautiful face.
Keep Jules here for 1 second because I have to actually go take a piss. Jules.
Oh yeah.
Film
yeah.
in, bro.
Okay, cool. That works out. But yeah, we also Jules was just on Nephilim Death Squad for those who aren't aware. So go check him out.
Yes, sir.
Hell yeah, dude. I haven't had a chance to check it out. So
it was a banger.
Yeah, I'm sure it was.
I think you'll like it.
Yeah, hell yeah, dude. I'm looking forward to it. It should be good. God, one more thing. Oh, so far as my patrons, I did want to let you guys know that the $2 level, you guys, like I said, you guys are able to come on. That's one of our Patreon perks. But for my followers, I know a lot of people are complaining on my channel about the ads when it comes to Spreaker, which is the new podcast host I swapped over to. Dang it, one of you guys is already calling over. You're going to have to wait a second. I can't do that while trying to talk. Call back in a second. Actually, Jules, tell them about your episode. I'm going to set up this call, okay? I got a call coming in, all right?
Okay. Yeah, well, if y'all watch my show, you know that I do deep dives on ancient Sumerian deities and like Babylonian bloodlines that, entities that are worshipped in every ancient civilization by every ancient mystery school and secret societies, and we just kind of dived into that and symbolism. A lot of cool shit, man. So y'all go check it out. You can go to the Nephilim Death Squad Patreon as well. They got a bunch of tiers on there you can sign up for, and we're gonna be doing a lot more shit together. So should be fun. And I should be having him on Grey Pilled soon. So
nice.
Yeah, man.
Good shit, brother.
Long time coming. So yeah, it was fun. It was fun.
Dude, I haven't watched it yet, but I'm super excited to tune in. I've just been like, I have so much going on at this moment just because of this 7 days that I'm about to go on vacation. I'm like stressing, but all is well. At least, I'll be forced to kind of unplug for just a couple of days, but
How long's your
anyway,
vacation?
it's like 7 days for sure. Like we've been planning it for a minute because I haven't seen my good friend in so long, man, since I moved years ago. So I've been looking forward to this. But
All right,
So,
all right, guys. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but we do have a caller that's waiting. All right, hey, you're on Already Dead with Jose and Austin, and we also got Jules in the wing here. What's up, man? How you doing? Let them know. Let them know who you are. What's up, dude?
What up, y'all? It's Bo from Texas. Shout out to Austin. You did great work today. Because of that, I went down the rabbit hole of the whole C4 in Illinois thing. Like, and Jose, thank you, and Jules as well. Sorry I don't see you too often there. Anyway, so called friends and family back home in Illinois, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, hey, what the fuck's up with this C4 shit in Chicago, right? Like, shit's up north a little bit of ways. But, they were like, telling me, what the fuck are you talking about? And I sent them info, and they're like, what the fuck? This isn't on the news. And then, like, my boomer ass dad, right? Like imagine Fox News, the boomer to the extreme. He's like, listening to FM radio and everything. That's not even on that news at all. Like, this is nowhere. Right? And they're like, what the fuck? This should be national news. Like, y'all think that's odd, right?
I'm sorry, seem what? I'm sorry, say that again.
Oh, sorry. Did I say too much stuff all at once real fast?
No. I missed the last little part. You said, did you see what specifically?
Like, did you see, what I was telling them is, like, did you see the C4 in Chicago, right?
Oh, yeah,
like,
that's what we were just talking about, I believe, right? Yeah. That's what we were just Yeah. Austin covered this, looked at this a little bit more than I have, but I mean, Austin just showed it to me, yeah.
Yeah, and I was telling them, like, do y'all see anything in the news about this? Like, this should be national wide, right? It's like, nah, this isn't nothing. And, like, he listens to the local stuff and everything,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I just thought that was odd, right? Y'all think that's a little odd?
That is wild. So you're saying the local news hasn't really been covering that at all, but hell, it's not even really been covered on the timeline really that much. So it's not big in big news, but it didn't really even, you would think that would have been big at least in local. So you're saying it's not big in local is what you're saying.
Exactly. Now, granted, we are like 4 hours away from Chirac up north, or at least my friends and my parents are. I'm in Texas now.
Okay.
But it ain't
scared.
nowhere. He was like, what the fuck, And I'm like, this is some weird shit, because I was joking with him saying, I thought the ATF ran guns to gangs, not bombs.
That's great.
Am I wrong?
I like your style, brother.
Yeah.
And something else I thought was kind of funny, right? Because I was talking to him about this. Like, tell me what you all think. So, it seems like every 10 years they switch from white supremacy to it being Islamic extremism. And I feel like we're switching from the white supremacy problem to the Islamic extremism problem is what the FBI is pushing people to.
Yeah. Sure feels that way.
Ever since the new year.
Yeah. I mean, for sure. I mean, I don't know. Is there anything else you guys say? I guess we'll talk about. Just so you know, I don't know if you recall, but for those who aren't aware out there, I can hear you, the audience can hear you, but you can't hear Jules and Austin. Just for the audience, so they're aware. So if you haven't heard them chime in, that's why they've talked. You just haven't been able to hear them in this. One of these days, we'll logistically figure out a better way. I think I know a way to do that, and that'll be in the future. We just got to dump a few dineros in the pot to make it happen. But do you have anything else in that? That was interesting information. It was I appreciate the call.
Oh, no problem. Did Jules or Austin ask me anything?
No,
I couldn't hear him.
No, did you have any questions, guys? I can relay it to them. No, they didn't.
I was backing you up, though, brother.
Yeah, they were backing you up.
I had so much stuff going through my head, but I forgot.
Yeah.
It's so fast. No, that's about it. Other than hopefully you can do some of the IRA stuff I sent to you.
Oh yeah. Oh, that was you. Okay. I haven't had a chance.
Yeah,
I meant to. Yeah, I meant to address that, but I hadn't had a chance to. Like kind of really process all that. I was kind of hoping like for an easy article, but I kind of have to connect the dots on some of that stuff. But I have it all. I bookmarked all of it, so I do need at some point, maybe one of these days when there's just a dead news day, I will pull that out and because that's how it works. Like I have a bunch of stuff buried in that bookmark, and whenever I'm getting to a point to where there's not much news, I'll be like, like, I'm gonna dig in the old dig up some old article. We'll read that together. So that'll be one of those days probably. So eventually one of these days that is in the wing, ready to touch on at some point. But I appreciate you calling in. Do you have anything else, bud?
Hell yeah. No, that's about it, man. Take care. Y'all take care now.
All right, you too. Appreciate it, man. Call in again, all right?
All right, no problem now.
All right, see you, bye. Yeah, that was fun. That was interesting. Yeah. That it was, he was saying that it really wasn't that big of a big news fucking locally, which is kind of surprising. Real quick, I did want to say before it leaves my mind, what I was trying to say before he called is, as Fire Pixie was saying here, I don't get any ads. I don't know if she was being silly and was meaning this tongue in cheek, because she is a patron, and I finally set up an RSS feed, an ad-free RSS feed. If you're a patron, if you go to the top, there's a little icon that you click on. It should give you like a link that you use in your podcatcher or something. I don't know how to use it particularly, but I guess you can, whatever podcatcher you use, you can somehow get your own specific ad-free RSS link to my show. And so everything going forward, I didn't do my archive because that would be insane. It's a ton of stuff. I don't even know how I would collect all those files. But either way, so going forward, all of my content will be on my Patreon ad-free as well, in an MP3 form. And you can do it on Patreon and listen to it there, or you can do it on your ad catcher and use a fucking whatever fucking podcatcher you want to use, and just use your RSS. So now you can get the ad free there. So I know a lot of people are asking for that or wanting that, so now you get that perk. But anyways, sorry, I didn't want to interrupt with grift. But I don't know if you have any thoughts on any of the stuff that the caller had to say, or I don't know.
Right, I do.
I really wish we could have all talked. But it was a good conversation. It was good. It does create a little bit of a barrier, but it was still good information.
Yeah, one day we will get that figured out, because that will be a lot of fun.
To go with it and say, no, I have the ad-free RSS feed. Not, hey audience, here's a way to not use ads.
How dare you, Fire Pixie? What are you doing?
You're taking money out of my pocket.
Yeah, not cool. Yeah, but as far as the context of replacing domestic white supremacist sort of ideological terrorism to this radical Islamic terrorism domestically, as far as the threat is concerned for this upcoming year, I think they're kind of doing something different. They're kind of fusing together the two of them, right? Which is so strange.
We're getting the Ted K lefties, and I'm like, I'm here for it. Like, that's the vibe they're going for. Like the equivalent of like the modern neo-Nazi, but like on the left.
Right. Exactly.
Like a Ted K kind of guy.
Yeah.
Which I'm kind of like, cool. That's kind of a fun op. I'm here for it.
You
got me sucked in.
Yeah, it's different, 100%, man. But that is what I'm concerned with, is that this is not only the year of like the white supremacist militia style terrorism domestically, but this is the year of domestic terrorism in general, I think. And that this is potentially some sort of pretext that they're attempting to manufacture within the ideological framework of the individual citizens, who, wherever they may fall on that political spectrum. And I think that's what you always have to consider, is like, this is not some sort of tactical operation where they only target certain individuals ideologically. That would make no sense. So you would have to imagine that the psychological warfare planners would have, kind of sophisticated these methods to a certain extent, to where they would, they would have kind of, found themselves embedded and infiltrated within every aspect of that political dynamic and that political spectrum. And as far as where we end up finding ourselves as domestic citizens. So
Bobo Makua, the one who called in, is saying that he forgot to say that the C4, it was weird that the news didn't have the C4 as headline, but they just used the fake ID and the rifle instead. That's a good point. I don't know. I mean, I guess there's two different ways you could look at it. You could look at it as if like they're like trying to key in on like kind of like gun crime or something, or I don't know. Because explosive kind of undermines that argument, because you're like, dude had a fucking explosive. Like, you don't think he was supposed to have that.
Right. Yeah, no doubt.
It kind of undermines that argument. If you're like, oh, we need to ban guns, it's like, well, he has explosives. That shit's banned. So like, I don't know if I can tell you. Or if the other thing is like to distract from a glow up, because it's like that is also like the main hallmark that makes it like fake ID and rifle. You're like, oh, whatever. Fake ID rifle and C4. You're like,
yeah, exactly.
Oh, there, Mr. Federal Agent.
Exactly, man.
Yeah.
And as I was kind of alluding to before, it's almost like become this choose your own reality simulation to a certain extent. Not kind of forcing upon you the ideological perspective of simulation, but I'm just saying,
sorry, real quick. I don't know if you're following the private chat, but I guess this is a thing you guys can do now. I guess because, as I said, we've given out our little behind the scenes for Patreons. You, as I said earlier, you guys can
coming in hot.
You guys can be a talking head on the show, but I guess for some reason we have audience member or patrons who just decide they like to be behind the scenes of the show, so they literally just come in and they just sit behind, like literally I can see their icon to like I could theoretically bring them up, but then they just like are talking in the private chat, so they're giving us like private commentary throughout. So whatever, if you want to pay us money to just come on and give us private commentary and not actually come on the show and talk to us, that's cool too. But he's saying that they're saying it's a fake rifle, which I missed that detail, which that even more leans into that joke that I made. They're like, oh, you add in the C4 component, and now it's like, oh, haha, Mr. Federal Agent, you have fake guns, fake, fake costumes, like, all these different things. C4. It's like, I don't know. I mean, it really, it'd be almost more. Yeah, it'd be almost more on the nose if it wasn't C4 and it was like inert pipe bombs, and you'd be like, oh, okay.
Oh, right.
But C4 does it too, because you're like, but I don't know. Feels like maybe we are being primed, and I also think maybe even on it might be on. I think that he might be right in more ways than one, or I think we might be both be right in the sense that like Bobo Mikua, who called in a bit ago, and he was saying kind of that we might transition to back to like Islamic terror type stuff. And you were saying like, well, we might get like we're getting like a little bit of a lefty thing. I think it might be both. I think there might be something too. And I saw this is an original thought. I saw someone pointing this out earlier. Like I've been kind of joking, and we've brought up like that Ryan girl, was it Sarah McRyan or whatever the fuck her name is?
Sarah Adams, I think.
Sarah Adams, whatever. Yeah, the glowy that fucking goes on the Sean Ryan show, and talks like this, and says, "Oh my god, Al Qaeda's doing this and that," and so. I mean, I've kind of had fun with that and joked around, but. I think there might be something to that. It really is. I'm sure you probably vaguely recall the lead up to like the war, like the lead up to the war on terror and stuff. Like after 9/11, to where we actually really entered into the war on terror. It still was. It wasn't like they hit us and then like immediately we were at war. Like there was like a period of time. There was like they had to ramp up the propaganda. I mean, not that we've had an attack, but it's like we have the preamble of all of these. We've been getting this, and I guess if you look for it, you might find it anyway. So maybe it's just like that kind of bias thing. But we've been getting this like kind of drip of these. Oh, we have this continuing drum beat essentially of like, oh, we have this. Oh, look, oh, we're gonna have some of this, like especially with her, like she's the best parody of this. Of like, oh, we're gonna have this terror attack, and oh, there's gonna be like an October 7th in America, and this and that. Oh, that's gonna be like a dress rehearsal, and like that type of bullshit. So, I mean, all we really need is an event to happen, and like they've kind of already set the stage. So it's like.
Absolutely.
So I don't know. I mean, it's kind of they're ready to go. It's just a matter of whether they capitalize on it. But you also have the lefty.
That's
it's just
more
more just
about
like,
situation is.
It's more just about throwing seeds. Oh,
Exactly.
Jules, dial up that video. The one we were supposed to start the show up with. Because that would be a good place to go right now. Because now that we're on it, and before we forget about it. But see, Islamic terror gives Trump the excuse to ramp up the intelligence state and Patriot Act bullshit. And we didn't even talk about Israel shut at all today. I think
I have a lot of shit primed and ready for that if we do want to segue into that at any point.
Well, I don't think we're gonna have time to today. Maybe that'll be something for the. It might be something for the morning dump tomorrow. It should have been the first thing I sent, which maybe I sent a bunch after. It was the it's the one thing I brought
see
the wrong
something
one.
on Massey, but that's not a video. It's just an
No.
article.
Yeah, no, that's the Tucker Carlson video.
There's a Whitney Webb article, and then you sent the post by Clint about the Cybertruck. I don't see anything else.
Right here, I just sent it again. So, yeah, there you go. Yeah, it was Cybertruck one. I didn't see anything from Clint about Cybertruck, but okay. Anyways, yeah, there it is. That's up. Yeah, I don't know if you have it up yet, but yeah, I just sent it to you. Sorry, guys. But yeah, we have should be coming up a second. It's Clint, my buddy Clint sent it. It's a clip from Tucker Carlson. Huh? Oh, this guy set up. Okay, Tucker Carlson saying a U.S. agent told him the New Jersey drones were from China. Supposedly recently took down a Chinese satellite, which serves as command and control for the drone network. What the fuck? All right, let's go ahead and play it.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it's like, where the fuck are you getting from, dude?
That this person believed that they were in fact Chinese, and that a Chinese satellite went down, was visible to the naked eye. There were news stories about it. It evaporated, it burned up, and that this person told me that was taken down by the U.S. government. That was a command and control satellite for these drones. And the belief was the Chinese government was sending the following message: we're moving on Taiwan and maybe other things. You can't do anything about it. An intel
Yeah, I mean, an intel guy told me. I mean, I don't know. I mean, which
fucking spook season, man.
To be
it's
fair,
not even season.
To be fair, I mean, I know the knee jerk for especially me and you with Tucker is like, come on, man. Like, I want to believe Tucker is one of the goodies, but it's like, it's also like, I don't know, his dad's literally CIA. He's fucking, I don't know, he's Pilgrim Society. Like, he's, it's like, I don't know. I mean, like, he says all the right shit, but it's also like, to be fair to him, to the benefit of the doubt, fucking, I mean, Intel guy just probably did tell him, and he's just saying that. I mean, now does he believe that? I don't know. He just doesn't strike me as one, at least before, that would really fall into the China bullshit. So I know it's kind of weird he would even mention it, knowing it's some Intel guy. I know, you know what I mean, because he knows that that's how this stuff kind of gets seeded. So like, why would you do that? But I mean, whatever. I mean, I don't know. Not everyone can really fucking control their speech to that degree. And I mean, I'm one to talk. I all the time be like, I need to talk about it, and then I just kind of go on some other weird ass rant that I didn't totally mean to at all. So I could totally see like saying that and be like, oh fuck, I didn't even mean to tell the audience about that. Like, you're like, maybe I shouldn't have done that. So like, I don't know. So to give him a little bit of a benefit of the doubt, but it is bizarre. Especially because it's a built-in China narrative. It's just like it's just so low-hanging fruit, like China. Come on.
Man.
All right. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Any thoughts?
Yeah. No. It's setting the pretext for this international conflict that's in waiting in the wings. That's my mind as far as this incoming administration is concerned. I see no difference. It's just, what can we accomplish with this regime? And that's kind of, unfortunately, my perspective when it comes to this incoming Trump administration, especially considering the special interest groups. I continue to put it in these terms, but it's like, man, how else do we kind of set the stage and provide the framework? It's like the special interest groups and the powers standing tall behind the Trump administration and this incoming transition team that's allegedly going to lead us into the land of kind of individual liberty and opportunity. But this is the false narrative being constructed to offer us this false alternative that I continue to harp on, because I think it's just so important in this very moment in time, specifically because I see this very, very much these strange synchronicities in regard to why are there certain bureaucratic oligarchs who are behind these special interest groups that continue to provide the false framework of these agenda item benchmarks that are intended to be essentially to usher in and facilitate this totalitarian technocratic state, this dystopian reality for the future. And that is where I kind of think we're being led by the nose into that unfortunate reality, and that Trump is being offered to the public as this, I would say, how do they put it? You never change shit, I can't remember the saying, but either way, the point being is that when you consider the fact that you
can stick your hand in a butcher's ass, or you can ask his opinion about the meat or something like that, I think, right?
Yeah, exactly. No, you know what else?
It's a good reference if you know that. I don't know if you know that reference. Okay, you got the reference.
What that reminds me of? It's so funny. That reminds me of The Sopranos. I think it's the first season when Tony Soprano is talking to Junior, his Uncle June, and he's talking to him. He's like, "Hey, do you remember that saying that you told me when I was a kid?" And it's basically this philosophical framework. And he's like, about the bull on a hill, right? And he's like, this basically, the son of a bull looks up to his dad, and he's like, "Hey, Dad, why don't we go down, run down that hill and fuck one of those cows?" And the bull looks at his son and he says, "Hey, son, why don't we walk down there and fuck them all?" And that's legitimately the perspective of the elite oligarchs, that sort of the unelected bureaucrats that kind of come together in this mutual manner to contrive this false misconception and this false reality for us to fall into these traps. And it just always reminds me, never accept things at face value. Always look at the special interest groups providing the opportunity for a lot of these people and individuals to rise to power, because I think that alone, with utilizing the media as far as the Operation Mockingbird and things of that nature are concerned, and kind of creating these false personas that are then provided to the public and kind of offer a rehabbed image to the same exact agenda. You know what I'm saying? Like that is where the seduction is taking place, and the deception, and where we have to remain headstrong. So anyway, sorry, dude.
Yeah. No, you're good. Can we bring up that article once again in the private chat? We got our private commentary is hooking us up. Apparently, we found photos, and I wanted to say real quick. I looked at these real quick while we were talking, and as I said with the inert pipe bomb, apparently the C4 thing, we don't even know it's C4. That's just what she said, the black lady.
Yeah.
So it just looked like C4 or whatever. Like so that type of shit. So like. There wasn't C4 once. As I said, like it would be better. Once again, it is better. So scroll down. Let's scroll down and look at it, because it says suitcase explosives that say it said C4, and I googled the pictures. Looks like military stuff. This is it. Look at that photo right there. That looks like an inert, and like that looks like some. I mean, that could be real, but it looks like it could be a fake that's made to look real easily. You know what I mean? And then also the gun is supposedly fake, which it looks fake too. Like so.
That looks very fake. Yeah.
Yeah, something about it just looks off. Looks kind of. I mean, I guess it could be real. I mean,
it's like going into James Holmes' apartment with the bombs from Mario Kart from Super Mario.
Okay,
so that's hilarious.
So I don't know what all those other weird little things are. Those almost look like they're supposed to be. I don't know what a pipe bomb's supposed to look like. Maybe they're supposed to be some sort of physical. Those almost look like they're supposed to be some sort of explosive-looking thingamabobs or something as well. Like something that, like, if you left, people would be concerned about.
It looks like Acme explosives from the Wile E. Coyote. That's what it fucking looks like.
No, the thing on the left. The thing on the one on the left.
Okay.
Like the photo on the right, on the left, like whatever those cylinders are. Like not those, the ones on the left, and the along the entire left. Those. Okay, I don't know what those smaller things. Those almost look like pens or something. But those all look like some things that if I was robbing a bank and I dropped that on the floor and went out the door, people would be like, "Oh my god!" and they'd have to call a bomb squad. You know what I mean? Like I don't know what exactly that's supposed to be, but that's kind of the vibe I got. But then especially the ones on the right. So, I mean, bizarre. This is kind of pretty Kind of weird. Although it could just be a fucking weirdo. I don't fucking know who the fuck gets it. So I mean, it's not actually C4. I doubt it. I doubt that's actually explosives. It could be though. So yeah. Let me see. Look in the chat. See if you guys have anything. Somebody says squirt gun. I mean, maybe. I guess it could be. The Black says, all right. Is there anything? So it's just a contractor doing work. Call police to find what appears to be. Okay, so I mean, I guess to be fair, this could end up being a nothing burger. Also, like I mean, although I will say like what the fuck the explosives is kind of like a bit on the nose. So I don't know. I mean, the gun because it does look like it could be like literally like a squirt gun. So,
Really?
But they also said they saw other shit. So and then he says Jose C4 does not look like that comes in a brick. Yeah, I didn't think C4 was like that either. I'm pretty sure C4 is like bricks. You set the charges and stuff.
Yeah,
so like
right.
So I mean whatever. I mean that's the. Yeah. All right. Well, that's that does glow quite a bit. I don't know what to make. Obviously, we're very limited on information, which is bizarre. Another interesting part of it. Yeah. So.
Right. But don't worry, Jose, because the incoming Trump administration is the plausible alternative for the future.
Oh shit! I don't know when you talked about this earlier. I don't remember. Maybe I missed this. Maybe I was zoned out. Maybe I was dealing with something else. Sorry. Sometimes I have behind the scenes things.
No, you're
but
good,
they said this article. Maybe it's newer. Maybe I think we only watched the video with the lady earlier, so we didn't know much about it. We just knew there was some sort of.
Hold on.
Well, this article says WGN investigates. He's the same man. They say a man is in custody.
Share it and I'll stop sharing this for right now.
Say what?
You want to share the article real quick?
Oh, sorry. I was on another tab looking at the tab. I didn't realize you had that open.
You're good.
But
Here,
yeah, like, go back to the. I mean, you can go back to the article. I'm literally just looking at the article or whatever. I'm just saying.
You might as well pull it up, honestly, if you're looking at it.
Yeah, it says the police say a man is in custody but not been charged. Source tells WGN investigates that he's the same man who was fired from the Chicago Fire Department in 2022 and threatened a mass shooting. So this guy used to work for the fire department in 2022, threatened a mass shooting.
Wait. Think about the elements playing into this narrative.
Yeah.
Right? Just considering the LA fires happening at this very moment. And so once again, it's like this kind of spooked out narrative that falls perfectly within the framework. So you never know. But according to Ernest Goes to Buffalo, it was C4 the pre-workout. So we shouldn't even concern ourselves.
Yeah. Okay. A relative called police back then to say he came home, made threats of a shooting spree at the fire academy, gathered several guns, and left. So I'm assuming maybe that means he was in the academy. He wasn't a full-fledged firefighter yet, and then he became an HVAC person after. They say he's suicidal depressed. A police dispatcher announced over the radio in 2022 he was terminated from his employment today. He took a gun and fled, threatened to shoot up the fire academy. They found the man 2 miles from the fire academy and took him into custody after a brief standoff. That's from the old one.
What the fuck?
They're not identifying the man because he wasn't in charge in the 2022 incident and was also. Oh shit! So he wasn't charged in that, which is a big interesting component.
Huge red flag.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and he has also not been charged with Monday's scare. I mean, sure, you get like maybe a little bit almost like a mulligan, I think when it comes to legal stuff sometimes, sometimes it's like we don't even want to deal with this. It's too much fucking work. Whatever, you can go like a minor stuff. Like it'll be like whatever, this felony is now a misdemeanor, or now this or whatever, this misdemeanor is like a fucking this little paper slap on the wrist essentially.
Exactly.
That shit happens.
Don't worry. Go up north and get a new get a new parole officer. We won't even question that.
But this is like one that you wouldn't theoretically get any sort of mulligan for. You would think if you were threatened a mass shooting at the Chicago Fire Department when you were an employee for them. That's weird. All right.
Very weird. You know how much there's such a deep connection as far as the Jesuit connection to Chicago and as far as the University of Chicago itself being entirely funded by a lot of Rockefeller special interests, and again, this kind of like held hands with the rise of the United Nations and this interesting spectrum of influence, that kind of formed around the United Nations and these various non-governmental organizations, right? That of course steer policy in more ways than one. And so I'm just saying, like, anytime you reference Chicago, you have to keep in mind that there is a very prominent Illuminati confirmed handprint on what is happening within the context
Boule
of Chicago.
Society.
The Boule Society, exactly. Where do you think Obama came from? It was,
A
of
test
course.
tube.
Yeah, exactly. No, 100%, man.
Yeah.
But who
Hey,
funded the University of Chicago? It was the Rockefeller Rothschild special interest groups that formed the United Nations and these NGOs that facilitate these abhorrent policy positions, that affect everyone worldwide. So again, just another a facet of this false framework we're intended to embrace, when in reality, we should be very skeptical of anything coming out of that area. But anyway, go ahead, brother.
Austin, I just wanted to. I remember earlier you presented this. I think you mentioned there was something in the you presented it earlier. So I'm hoping maybe you recollect this. They said there was something about HVAC. Like, so it made me think that there was still working for that this guy was somehow, for some reason, made me imply this guy was an HVAC employee. But the reason why I say that is because the last paragraph in the article that we just brought up says that records show a man by the same name was hired by a different agency after the 2022 threat against the fire academy. That agency continues to employ him today. A spokesperson for that city department did not immediately provide a comment. And the reason why that's important is because it's like they're implying, obviously, that it seems like they didn't release his name because he wasn't charged, but they're saying that he was hired. There's a person that literally at the exact same time was hired and was continuing to build. So they're saying, I guess I'm assuming they're implying that this was likely maybe this guy, or could be. It seems timing wise, but obviously they can't confirm it, so they're obviously not releasing a name. So I guess I'm kind of curious. Where do you recall anything where that HVAC point came from, or was she an HVAC employee or something? Where did that HVAC thing come from?
Specifically, I believe she was, and that's the reason why. Yeah, she was even within the as far as the private residence itself. That
makes sense now.
Yeah.
Okay, the woman was the HVAC working in.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we don't know who this guy is for sure. It seems to be that people are surmising maybe. We have a source tells WGN investigates that it might be a fire department guy. So we don't know if that's true. That's weak as fuck. Source. I mean, especially the past couple weeks, if you haven't learned how fucking weak a source is, then, fuck, even the goddamn chief of staff of public affairs of a fucking military, a command is apparently, so.
Not credible. Yeah, exactly.
And, so you need to be careful with the source. And even then, in that case, it's it's okay because it was private conversation, which is why I made a point to Keen on that earlier, because it's that's probably, because if you say something in a private conversation, someone later then goes, oh, they said that, you have such an insane amount of plausible deniability. And also it's dude, that's a private conversation. That was, why were you talking about that? You know what I mean? Yeah. There's so many things you miss, oh, you missed this context, that, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. It's interesting. Yeah. So point being is definitely don't almost never trust sources say. I mean, take it under consider. Put it in there. Go kind of process it. Throw it in with all the other information you have out there. Kind of weigh it. But always kind of keep in mind. Oh, this is completely unverified. So
exactly.
Yeah.
And always consider the recycled tactic of, John Brennan, right? And these 63 various, anonymous intelligence officials have made the statement, and that is exactly how they kind of provide the false misconceptions to the public. So, you always have to.
I didn't even think about the fireman police unit. Sorry, I'm just thinking this through. I didn't mean to cut you off, but someone said the fireman police uniforms, and I'm like, if this guy was a fireman, maybe that's where they're coming. So if you're I'm not trying to be overtly racist here, but if you're some HVAC worker, you go, like just fucking some uniforms, like it may have literally been his actual just like uniform. It may have just been like a fireman uniform, and she said police or whatever. Because like you got to keep in mind where once again sources matter, and that's where we're getting a source from. So we're filtering it through her and her proclivities, and then
Right.
I don't think she
But
really
again, like
yeah.
I'm just considering the fact that you remember. Well, actually, I don't think Sam said this when he came on the show, but I've heard him mention the fact that his relationship with sort of like that's racist, Jose. Did you not? but
Yeah.
no, I was just my mind was kind of falling within the framework of I think this actually happened when I went on tinfoil that first time, and we talked about this, was just the fact that, yeah, it was in the context of Geraldo Rivera and Ruby Ridge, right? And providing that false framework to the public through the media, as far as saying that, Randy Weaver fired at our media helicopter, right? So that
Yeah.
provides this false pretext for us to intervene at a very violent level, right? And that is exactly what took place. But again, it's like that's the psychological operation behind these various domestic gladio ops that are taking place, and so you always have to consider that element is that they're always going to flex their media assets whenever these these events take place. And so you never can accept, especially the individual media members that provide the initial narrative and plausible framework for the event itself, because that's typically where you find the smoking guns, you know what I mean? And so yeah, that's something that, yeah, Ruby Ridge Fire Pixie. Ruby Ridge is something that will resonate with me for my entire life. Something that I will always revert back to, because it's, again, I've said this many times, but it's the perfect example of what your government is capable of and what they're willing to do, to the domestic citizenry, and then also how they're willing to deceptively frame that narrative to the public, to where you will then, of course, offer up more of your civil liberties within that unfortunate misconception, and demonize those very individuals who actually are potentially attempting to, just attempting to really exercise those individual liberties that we're really meant to embrace and appreciate, and we don't tend to very often, and until we see these unfortunate events take place, and that's why Randy Weaver and Vicky, man, the kids too, like it will resonate with me for the rest of my life. It is the example that you should use for why we should oppose unaccountable power. You know what I mean? And in every way possible. And anyway, buddy.
Yeah. Well, all right, Austin, you ready to get out of here, bud? I have a couple.
Hey, man,
I have a couple more
fine.
notes for you. But
I have a shitload of things that I could talk about, but
well, I guess
honestly,
that's what we have the morning show for. That way
Exactly.
we get all this extra stuff off our chest. I did a couple little things I did want to touch on. I had Dirt McGirt in the chat saying the pitcher showed a bunch of patches on the floor by the gun. I don't know if you want to bring it up again real quick, Jules. You can bring up the gun. It's very clearly, I mean, maybe one of those is a patch, but it looks like, I swear, there's a couple. There's literally multiple Pikachus. And they kind of look like other Pokemon and little like stickers. It's kind of hard to tell. But it literally kind of looks like sort of like the shit I have on my door, like literally stickers, kind of like I have in this closet back here. So that's what it looks like. So I mean, he said patches, so I don't think there's anything to be analyzed there. It just kind of looks like, maybe some sort of anime nerd. It's not because it's not like military patches or anything. I'm not seeing anything like that. So and I also did want to.
What are those? What are those things to the right on that image? That are in those interesting. They have like a screw on top, right? You see those things to the left on the right image.
Oh, that's what I was
that
talking about earlier. Yeah, the left and the right, the ones that are all along the
yeah.
left and the right, the cylindrical things. Yeah.
Yeah, what is
That's what I was
that?
talking about earlier. I don't know. That's what I was saying. They almost look like they would be something that if you roll on the floor after robbing a bank, you'd be like, you don't know what it is, but you're like, that looks suspicious. Like it could be like a chemical, or something, or like some sort of something or other. Like, so you're like, I don't want to fuck with that. Like that's what it looks like. So I did real quick. I do want to mention that we got a Rumble rant from Fire Pixie for $10 as paying
Our
for
Pixie.
forgiveness. Remember, I'm just a chick. So thank you, Fire Pixie. You didn't have to pay for forgiveness. You're a patron. It was a joke. It's fine. It's okay if you avoid the ads. I'm giving you ways to avoid the ads, so you can.
Right.
You don't have to do the Brave browser thing anymore. But although I guess it probably works just fine, whatever. But now you have the option for an ad-free RSS feed for those who aren't tech wizards who don't know how to do shit like that. But Austin, you want to let people know where they can find you, and we'll go ahead and get out of here, dude. Yeah, I'm looking forward to doing some more. Maybe you can link up for some more morning shows here soon.
Hey, man,
I
that's
just hit
my
up Shane
plan.
Cashman today. I think I might have him come on the morning show sometime
Tell
soon.
that bastard to come
Yeah.
on, man. I would love
Yeah.
to talk to him again at some point. Let
Yep.
me know if he agrees.
And I
Because
think at Last American Vagabond, I'm going to hit him up.
Ryan
'Cause
Christian,
I had
he's
hit him.
the shit, dude.
I had hit him up a long time ago to come on the show, but then he was like, apparently he was like, I can only do days. And but then
Hey,
that was before I was
let's
doing a morning
figure it
show.
out,
And now here
'cause
we
I
are. So I'm
love
like,
him,
shit,
dude.
we need to get him on sometime. So
Hey,
yeah, but at least for the
involve
day,
me,
the morning
please.
show is going to get a little bit more spicy. Hopefully, maybe we'll get some guests in the mix. Feel free to do that, obviously, on your days too. If you have guests you want to bring on for a
I
day
was
here and
thinking
there.
about that,
Yeah.
honestly, because I think it would provide a perfect opportunity for me to kind of, introduce that dynamic and to the underclass as far as the audience and whoever tunes in to our shows and maybe use it as just another opportunity to network as well. So it would make it a little easier for us to get guests on Already Dead too. So of course we haven't really reached out to too many people. I mean, shit, I haven't even asked one person since we had Sam on. So it's not like we've been actively pursuing people to come on the show as guests, but
Yeah.
I do think that it's important only because, it gives us another, platform as far as just a different version to introduce and offer to the audience. And then also, I think the networking aspect of this is just so important. And that was why I even started this in the first place, was to meet people like you and Jules and honestly, everyone. William, that, by the way, I should promote the fact that I will be on William Ramsey Investigates on Thursday to talk about the Delphi murders. Right. And I think that I had someone recently reach out to me and kind of give me shit about the Odinist connection to the crime scene and the signatures there. And it's only because they were asking where I was getting that narrative from. And I encourage you, please go listen to the Real True Detective that I personally did, the solo episode. And then also I've covered this a couple of times on Already Dead. So if you're wondering, we have established that fact as far as the Odinist connections to the crime scene. But if you haven't yet checked all of that out, tune in to my episode with William Ramsey on Thursday at, I think, 3 p.m. my time, which is Pacific. So 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, it'll be 6 a.m. or 6 p.m. I mean, Eastern time. So yeah, tune in for sure. Every time I get a chance to have a discussion with William, I'm on cloud 9 because William's always been someone that I've very much appreciated and admired as far as his kind of just who he's offered for potential sources for information that is very much unavailable to the public in more ways than one. So sorry. Anyway, I encourage you all, please check into that and then go subscribe to the YouTube and the Rumble, because we're trying to kind of get this morning dump off the ground. And yeah, anytime that Jose and I can join forces and attempt to just kind of almost recreate the Already Dead dynamic, but in a different way. It's almost more casual, and we can kind of just drink our coffee and have a couple conversations about things that we just came across or whatever is more relevant and current. Check in, and then always make sure you guys call in to Already Dead and take the opportunity you have to. And I know, of course, when Sam came on, there were a lot of different people who were very willing to call in and attempt to take advantage of that opportunity. So again, we'll try and have more guests on that will incentivize that aspect of the show, but also just call in if you have any questions at all about any prior content that we've covered, because I think that's a great opportunity to kind of hash that out and I would say just kind of elaborate more on whatever we've discussed prior to this. So anyway, that's the reason that we're providing that opportunity. I think it's something valuable. So hopefully you guys will take advantage of that in the near future. But other than that, I love you, Jose. And
love you too, brother.
And you guys just follow me on the Underclass podcast, and of course support me at Buzzsprout or Patreon. Those are the two places that are most valuable to me personally. So I've attempted to create more tiers on Patreon recently. So hopefully, if you guys at any point have the ability to kind of provide more, financial flexibility to people you appreciate, I would be more than happy to be one of those individuals. So thank you so much, the audience and any patron. Again, I can't reiterate enough how much I appreciate you. So thank you so much. And Jules, shout out to Jules Gray Pilled. I love you, brother. We didn't get to talk pre-show as much as we typically do, but anyway.
Go check out his appearance on Nephilim Death Squad, people.
Exactly.
Yeah, big stuff coming. All right, guys, make sure to like, share, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. If you want to support my content, you can do over that at patreon.com/NoWayJose2020. The lowest level is $2. And at that level, that's where you get the early episodes. Like, for example, I believe I have Jeremy Slate on this coming on this Thursday, and there should be there's also right now behind the paywall, I still have the episode where we talked about like kind of like 09A 764 stuff with Broth, which is kind of a newer content creator. So go check that out. You can get that if you're a supporter. You also can be a talking head on the show, like I said with me and Austin, like we were mentioning earlier. And also we have the ad-free RSS feed now. So if you don't like the ads on the audio side of things, you can get rid of them there. The highest levels of my sponsors, I read them off every episode. I have my co-host on Tower Gang at Tower Gang Toad. Also at Abrogate D's, at ZOVERACK, at _Infinite Zeal. I have Tim Tuttle at John Klebold, the homie. Will Bell has delicious blueberry rabbit eye wine, and then a big fan of the show, Torin May, and then also at INWARD Lover, at Inward Lover, because we all should learn to look inward and love ourselves. We should all become inward lovers. But yeah, make sure to like, share, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. I think Austin will be coming with you tomorrow with another Already Dead. But yeah, if you guys can spare a buck, support us where you can. And make sure, like I said, liking goes a long way. It takes no time at all for you guys. And another one would be whatever podcatcher you're on. Give us a 5-star review. That really takes not much time at all, too. So these are things that can take you less than 5 seconds. You can help boost us in the algorithm. It goes a long ways. So appreciate you guys. Keep popping in for our next thing. Like I said, Austin will be tomorrow, and I think Thursday I'll probably be taking over from there. But yeah, keep popping in. We'll be back with you guys next Tuesday. If you guys have any guests, any suggestions like that, be sure to tag us. That's the easiest way to get a guest. If you're on like some sort of social media, tag that person and say, hey, go and us, and go, hey, go on their show. And then they go, oh shit, there's a demand for us to go on that show. And then we go, yeah, we'd love to have you on the show. And there you go. But yeah, with that, guys, we're out of here. See ya. Bye.